Good afternoon, tutor and partners. At this moment, I'm going to talk about of Indonesia and custom and things that are acceptable and things that are not acceptable. In Indonesia, you are expected to have a quiet speech. In Indonesia, it's only acceptable to shake hands only for men. A woman is not acceptable that they touch another man. But between Muslim is acceptable or expected that Muslim softly touch his hair. Is acceptable only to talk about family, food, place, material position, but it's not acceptable to talk about the status or the inner position. In Indonesia, it's expected that men are served for women with a bowl, and is expected that confrontation can can give can give me can have with a smile. In Indonesia, you are not expected to have punctuality for other Indonesian because they talk about the rubber time. But between Westerns, it's expected that you can arrive on time. In Indonesia, it's only acceptable to take things or only to use your right hand because the left hand is only used for toilet functions. In Indonesia, it's not acceptable that women ride alone because they can suffer harassment for young men. In Indonesia, it's not acceptable that you cross your legs. You can maintain both foot in the floor. It's only acceptable to shake hands between men. For women is not acceptable. And another thing is supposed that you can defend the honor of your family is highly acceptable. Well, those are the things that are acceptable and not acceptable between Indonesian people. Thank you so much and see you soon. I am expected your opinions. Bye bye.
Good afternoon, my name is Luz Aida Idarraga. I am going to talk about customs of Canada. Canada is a sovereign country of the North America. Its territory is organized into 10 provinces and 3 territories. Its capital is the city of Ottawa, and the most populated city is Toronto. Canada is often characterized as a very progressive, diverse, and multicultural country. Government policies in Canada such as healthcare through public funds, higher and more progress taxes, prohibition of capital punishment, grave efforts to eliminate poverty, emphasis on cultural diversity, and more recently legalization of marriage between people of the same sex. They are the social indicator of the political and cultural values of Canada. When you greet someone, it is usual to shake hands and maintain a certain physical distance. In Canada, it is customary to call another person by his last name until he invites to call him by his first name. Example: they will call me Hidárraga until I authorize them call me Lusaida. Punctuality is very important. It is assumed that arriving 2 or 3 minutes late may be considered unpunctual. If you are inviting a lunch, a dinner, it is usually to be punctual and bring a gift. For example, a bottle of wine or some flowers. When entering a house, you are supposed to take off your shoes at the entrance. Canadians in general love life and like to have fun. It is a society that feeds from its citizenship. The good quality of life, tolerance and kindness are common characteristics throughout the country. So is security. Walking through the streets of Canada will not entail any danger because it is one of the safest countries in the world. In Canada, you are expected to leave tips 10 or 15% in restaurants, coffee shops, and taxi service. All mothers are supposed to be respected, single parents, parents of the same sex, etc. Canadians celebrate the arrival of New Year by going cool. Science of January 1st, despite being winter. The polar bear swimming takes place in which the participants vary in the ice Pacific Sea. It is worth mentioning the different festivals rooted in Canadian culture, such as the Montreal Jazz Festival and the Quebec Carnival. The latter is held in the winter, and therefore it is very common to organize. In addition, many sporting events typical of this time of the year, such as ice skating competition, dog sledding, and river canoe racing.
Good evening. My name is Luis Fernando Pareja Muñoz, and this is for the course Advanced English Teaching 2. I have decided to talk about an Indochina culture. Indochina is a peninsula at the south of the Asian continent, and it is inhabited by 4 nations especially. These countries they are Vietnam, Laos, Cambodia, and Thailand. The most special aspect of this culture is related to the manner as they watch the universe. They do not have a God. For them, there is not a creating creature in the end of the world. They believe the universe has always existed and it will always exist. So there is no reason to give importance to any God. They do not accept it. They may be accepting another kind of gods, many others, and demons, but not one only creator and the possessor over the universe. So the direct consequence is related to the customs because they watch the relation with the others in a very different manner than us. For example, for them, it is very important what you want. And the first thing to be happy is to forget who you are. You do not love your own image. You displace yourself from your ego. In the Western continent, in the place where we live, in this part of the planet, it is very different for us. For us is the adoring the ego. To love a God is to love our ego. And even the science is affected by this watching. You can find the ego psychology. The ego psychology is related to look at the ego as the center of the person. In Laos, in Indochina Peninsula, it is not about loving my own image, my egocentrism. No, it is about displacing myself from that position. It makes me a better human being. That's their religion. And they are invited to decide to want what they have. If I have something, I love it. What I love what I have. And there is another very important, the cancellation of the desire. When you desire something with a lot of force, you lose energy. So forget getting such an object. Liberate yourself and you will get the nirvana. For us, in this part of the country, of the world, in America and Europe, we are resuscitated. Resuscitation for us. They look for reincarnation. Now, in Laos, there is another important custom. It is relating to food. The main food down there in Laos is rice, but they do not prepare it like we do, and it is the importance of my story. They never let, they are never allowing the rice touching the water. They cook the rice using steam. So they use the boiling water in the pot to produce steam, and they place above the pot a, a basket, a basket of bamboo. And while the hot steam is going through the rice in the basket, it is being cooked and it is delaying about 12 hours, 20 minutes. Imagine, in Laos, it is forbidden. There is important law, and that law is in feeding. Rice never touches the water, and it is cooked by steam. I hope I have said something, and that you remain something with it afterwards in yourselves. Thank you very much for your attention.
Hello, my name is Sandra de Los Angeles Escobar. This is my word about Brazil. The official name of the country is Federative Republic of Brazil. Its capital is Brasilia and not Rio de Janeiro. Brazil is the fifth largest country in the world. It's the fifth most popular country in the world too. The official language of Brazil is Portuguese. The official currency of Brazil is the Brazilian real. The main religion of Brazil is Catholicism. Your soccer team has been the only on the attend all the World Cups. Brazil has the largest reserves of fresh water in the world, with 8,233 kilometers. It is the largest coffee exporter, orange juice and sugar in the world. Brazil is the country with the largest number of Japanese outside of Japan, with 1 million of them. Location and limits. Limits to north, Venezuela, Guyana, Suriname, and French Guiana. West limit, Colombia, and northwest, Peru and Bolivia. Limit to the south, Paraguay, Argentina, and Uruguay. East limit, Atlantic Ocean. Brazil has several teams of the soccer and several groups of dance. For example, groups of the samba. Tourism. Brazil has cities, for example, Rio de Janeiro and Sao Paulo are two of the most visited destinations in the country, offering visitors a fabulous peek into the complex heritage and natural spectacle of Brazil. Brazil is the most visited country in the continent of South America today. Places in the Brazil, for example, Ipanema Beach. Ipanema Beach is a place of the natural, spectacular reserves, natural and beaches. Other example of the place is beaches of Fernando de Noronha. It is paradisiacal archipelago of volcanic origin, in whose landscapes or virgin nature rock formations hide some of the most beautiful beaches. In general, characteristics of its extremely crystalline weathers and extraordinary marine biodiversity. Popular events in Brazil. Carnival of Rio is celebrated throughout Brazil. In each city observes it is in a unique way. This celebration takes place 46 days. The carnival is beautiful, is extraordinary, expensive. There are dances and music, parades, different festivals in the city. Weather. The seasons of the year in Brazil are unique. Each one has different climates, temperatures, and festivities that characterize each season. The summer in Brazil begins on December and ends on March. The autumn season in Brazil begins on March 21 and ends on June 21. The spring season in Brazil begins on September 23 and usually ends on December 21. Brazilian food. Brazilian food, the food in Brazil is diversity, fabulous dishes. For example, feijoada, rice with pequi, tacacá, moquecas. For example, feijoada. Feijoada is a dish with rice, black beans, and orange and other plants. Uh, it is a dish that is considered heavy. Its similarities at bandeja paisa in Colombia. Other dish, rice with pequi. The pequi is a plant original of the Brazil. Other tacaca or moquecas. Um, Beautiful. This is Brazil. This is beautiful and extraordinary country. Thank you very much.